Pride Month is one of my favorite times of the year, so I figured I share with you some of my own personal queer stories. I will give a content warning that this particular story contains non-binary slash transgender discrimination, and that if that's something you're not in the headspace for, I recommend just moving along, and I'll see you in the next video. So this job I had was actually one of my favorite jobs. I looked forward going to work every day, and I got to do a bunch of fun activities and teach arts and crafts to kiddos. My main managers were great. The staff members were like great for the most part. Part of what made it so fun to work with these people was that they were very curious on what it meant to be non-binary in a very respectful way. You see, this was when I lived in Florida, and as we know, Florida is not very LGBTQ plus accepting. People down there understand that this type of information is restricted. They understand that human rights are constantly an uphill battle for anyone that's not the cis hetero white male perfect, whatever the heck the Santas and the people in power want. Anyway, because of that, a lot of my coworkers who didn't know a lot about the LGBTQ plus community wanted to learn. They would ask me respectful questions and they would let me correct them when they were wrong. It was awesome. And actually, during my first day of work, I asked if I could have my pronouns on my name tag. And they immediately said yes. There was no pushback. I was the first person to ask for pronouns on my name tag, and they just made it work. It was that easy. So that was pretty cool. One day, I was in the back office. I was allowed to collect arts and crafts items, particularly crayons, broken crayons, chalk, and stuff, and reutilize them for my own craft. One of the managers called me over because they had a bag of supplies that I could have since they were damaged. Our GM was there and asked what it was about, and this manager accidentally used the wrong pronouns, but then quickly corrected themselves. The GM, who was new, was confused by this and was like, "Not a she." And the manager's like, "No, this person uses they them pronouns." And the guy goes off with, "I have a question." He then says, "Well, if you could change your gender, then can I change my race?" Mind you, this is the cis hetero white guy in power. So I had to explain to him the difference between gender identity and racial identity. He then continues to go off and ask questions not in a respectful way, and I'm trying to navigate the situation because I technically could lose my job because it is the South. He then decides to ask the question, "How do you reproduce?" in front of the entire management team. Think about it. If you're asking someone how they reproduce, you are asking a lot more about their personal life, about their personal organs. It's a loaded question that he just felt entitled to ask me in front of everybody. And nobody stood up for me. None of the managers, even the HR manager that was there, no one stepped in to tell this guy off, to tell him that was too far or that was inappropriate. I was the one who had to deal with it. And I did, which then caused him to storm out all angrily. The one manager who is part of the queer community wasn't there that day, actually. When he came back, I came up to him and said, like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" He immediately looked at me and knew it was serious. I told him everything that happened, and he was livid. He couldn't believe that happened. He couldn't believe that no one stood up for me. Thankfully, took this up the chain to the higher ups, like of the company HR situation. So I was very thankful that I had this person in my corner. Unfortunately, HR just did the barely a slap on the wrist and they pulled me aside and said, like, "Well, he won't apologize for what he said, and he was just ignorant about the situation, and we gotta respect that. So I can be discriminated against. That technically falls underneath sexual harassment, but I'm the one who has to deal with it. No one else is willing to deal with it. Love the system. Ugh, sarcasm. But yeah, that was one situation in which I faced discrimination and harassment at my job due to my gender identity. Let me know if you've ever gone through something similar, and I hope that anyone who's down south or anyone that's in a workplace or an environment that's not safe and accepting, that you know that we're here with you. Do whatever you have to do to keep yourself safe. Be smart about your decisions and know that you are loved and accepted by me and others in our community. All right, everyone. Until next time, bye.